Hi, it's Janelle from Parsnips and Parsimony, and today I'm going to be making Irish soda bread. Alright, this recipe is super easy to assemble and it just uses your ingredients that you have in the house every day. So we're going to start with our flour. You're going to be using 4 to 4.5 cups. This is 4.5 cups, so I'm not going to dump quite all of it in. We're going to save a little bit off to the side, about that much. We're going to add 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Once you've put all of your dry ingredients in the bowl, just use a whisk or a spoon and just quickly mix those together just like that. And then we're going to take 4 teaspoons of butter. I've cut these into smaller pieces. I'm going to put that right in there. We're going to work this into the dry mixture, and you can use a fork, so you can use knives, you can use your fingers, or my favorite tool is a pastry cutter. And we're just going to keep pushing and breaking the butter up until it resembles coarse crumbs. And sometimes you just need to loosen that butter because it'll stick to your pastry cutter. Alright, that looks about good. Just clean that off and set that off to the side. And you can see they're just little chunks in there, and that's just perfect. Now we're going to set this off to the side for a moment, and we're going to start working with our milk. Now this recipe calls for 1 3/4 cup of buttermilk. If you don't have buttermilk, don't panic. We can make our own buttermilk. It'd actually be more like sour milk. So there, I've measured out my 1 3/4 cup of milk. I'm going to add approximately a teaspoon to 2 teaspoons of lemon juice right into the mixture. I'm going to take 1 egg and add it to this mixture and beat it all together. And I'm just going to mix this up until the egg is well mixed in there. If you want to add your egg to another container and beat that, that's fine. I'm big into conserving dishes because I don't have a lot of time with our large family, so I try to be as careful with the time and the dishes that I use. All right, so that looks real nice. You can see how the egg is mixed right in. It's turned out a beautiful yellow color. To this, we are going to add our currants or our raisins. I'm going to be using raisins because I don't have currants, and I'm going to be adding 1 cup of raisins. And if it's a little over, if the raisins are a little bit more than a cup, that's okay. We really like ours nice and raisiny. Just mix those right in real quick, just like that. And then we're going to make a well in the center of our mixture. And in that well, we're going to add our milk and egg mixture. Just like that. And now we're going to start mixing this together. Now, you can see it's really, really way too loose. So what we're going to do is we're just going to keep adding a little bit more flour. We don't want to overmix this. If we overmix this, your Irish soda bread is going to be really tough, and tough Irish soda bread is not good. So to incorporate the rest of this flour, I'm just going to put the flour on my counter like that. Now don't get confused. We're not going to knead this dough. We're just going to kind of make sure it pulls together and it's shaggy and not smooth. Put this right onto our flour. Just like that. And if you're wearing rings, you probably should take them off for this job, so I'm going to take mine off. And we're just going to kind of gently mix the rest of that flour right into our bread. Not too much. We don't want tough Irish soda bread. You can see how loose this is. And a lot of that just depends on the weather outside, if it's raining, if it's humid, or if it's dry. There's not really an exact science to it. You just have to look at it and pay attention. All right, that looks like it's just about done. It's easy enough to handle, but it's still good and loose. That's about good. You should be holding its shape like that. Looks good. You can use a cast iron skillet for this, or you can just use a regular baking sheet. I'm using a well-loved round baking sheet. Just gonna lightly grease that. And then we're gonna take this and plop it from here onto here. Let's see how well I can do. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Not too bad. All right, then I'm gonna take a knife and just make a deep X like that. And it's ready to bake. I'm gonna stick this in my preheated 425-degree oven for approximately 40 minutes or until it's nice and golden brown. The dough still looks a little loose to me because of the way it's spread out and it didn't hold its X very well, but that really isn't going to affect it other than how it looks. Okay, cook my little bread. It's not been quite 40 minutes yet, but this looks like it's done. Look at that.
Yum.
Sounds like it's done, so we'll just leave it out to cool and slice it up for dinner. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you have, and also subscribe to our channel for our daily vlog and more cooking and homesteading and gardening recipes and things like that. Please visit my website, parsnipsandparsimony.com, for printable versions of this recipe and more. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you for our next video. Bye! Wow, that looks so good. You hungry?
Yes.